Welcome to Stranger Kitchens. Walk with me. Alright, so what are we doing again?
Meet Ed and Hal, who just love cooking for strangers. Their journey began more than 2 years ago, knocking on doors with their culinary desires.
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on?
Hi there.
Hiya.
What's that?
But cooking has always played an important role in their lives, and they're here to tell you all about it.
I've kind of grown up in London most of my life, and like Hal and I have been kind of like really good friends for that whole time. We've been, we're cousins, so we've known each other since we were really young. Like, even if neither of us ever really tried to learn to cook, there was just always someone cooking in the kitchen and like people around and chatting and all that kind of stuff.
Whilst it's easy to be inspired by the many cooking shows out there, Ed and Hal actually stumbled across the idea by chance. Once they began the show, however, they just couldn't stop.
I was with Hal and kind of another old friend of mine, and we were just hanging out together, and I wanted to do a cooking show. I thought it would be fun to use like a first-person perspective to kind of record a first-person cooking experience, and then we kind of kept adding things onto the idea until our other friend just kind of said, why don't you just knock on people's doors and ask if you can come in and cook them lunch? And we actually thought that was a really good idea. A couple of weeks later, we had like a big, like chunky, like Samsung phone strapped to my head, and we were knocking around on doors in London.
With thousands of door knocking experiences under their belt, running Stranger Kitchens can be tiring business. It's led to moments where they've almost given up after hours of traipsing the streets, where expecting rejections become second nature.
No, you're right, mate.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Alright.
In terms of rejections, I'd say there's no consistency between episodes.
On like, what was it, the fifth one? The one with Ollie, the harpist? We were literally like, all right, we'd been doing it for like 3 hours. And also at that point, you don't really have the energy anymore to kind of meet a whole person. And then he answered the door, and he was so kind of like energetic that it came back.
We go door to door and we ask people if we can make them lunch.
And you just come in and make lunch? Awesome, why the hell not?
Yeah, great.
I was actually pretty annoyed at the time. Like in the first minute, he was like, yeah, all right, come in. I was like, oh man, I've got to re-energize myself. I've got to make an episode. And then I think it turned into one of my favorite.
Hey man.
Going viral took Ed and Hal by complete surprise. Getting in touch with each other to share the news was pretty memorable.
It was one of the most frustrating experiences of my life, trying to get through to Ed in that day. Like, I think I must have called you like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a date on that day, and I was in the pub, and then I'm trying to kind of like be present and talk and everything, and then like on one screen over there is like everyone's like watching the Wimbledon final, and then on the other screen over there everyone is watching the cricket final, and then Hal is blowing up my phone in my pocket, and so I wasn't really able to do anything. I had to just leave early and be like, look, I'm really sorry.
Although the pandemic has affected Stranger Kitchens visiting people's homes, Ed and Hal have plans to do more videos in the future. They've already virtually connected with others and even cooked meals online. And they have plans to run a food festival once it's safe.
We would like to basically hold a little picnic type thing. We were going to do it earlier on, but when all of the guidelines changed a couple of weeks ago, we kind of put it on ice for a bit. We're just inviting kind of everyone and anyone to come and bring a seasonal dish, and just kind of for the purpose of getting people to think a bit more about what is seasonal. And we kind of feel like if you were to do that 4 times a year with each changing the season, then it's nice to acknowledge something that actually kind of has an impact on your life, changing the weather and changing your mood and how you feel and all that kind of thing. It would get people to think a bit more about seasonal food, and you'd meet a whole bunch of people and all that kind of stuff.
Cooking for Strangers has taken Ed and Hal all over London. They've met interesting people and made great food too. Their journey has allowed them to cherish people's company and realise how others live their lives too.
It reminds you that, you walk past more than 1,000 houses each day, but you totally forget that each one of them has 1, 2, 3, 4 people living in it, who have their own actual lives that are still going on every single day. And this is just a nice way of of seeing a bit more of the city that we live in, but we don't see, which is, you know, into people's lives.
Tell us what you think of Ed and Hal's Stranger Kitchens in the comments below.